Young people aren't failing. The system is failing us, and the only real way out is to build something nobody can ever take from you. Make sense? Let me explain. Cost of living exploded while wages barely moved. A gallon of milk that used to cost $2.50 is now $5. Everything doubled except your paycheck. People feel stuck even when they do everything right. You follow the rules, but the rules changed. Depending on a paycheck is dangerous. One email can flip your entire life upside down. My name is Daniel Beltran. I built a staffing company doing over $50 million a year in revenue, and I own multiple rental properties. But I didn't start with any advantages. Everything I built came from necessity. Growing up without structure forces you to build structure yourself. You either stay in survival mode or built the blueprint no one gave you. Let's talk straight about it, what's actually going on. Because you feel it every time you try to pay rent or buy groceries. Housing is nearly impossible now. A home used to cost 4 times the average salary. Today, 8 times. An average house price in my county is about $542,000, and that's a very small house. Cost of living rose 70% since the 2000s. Wages only 40%. That's why even with getting a raise nowadays, you still feel poor. Well, depending on what state you live in, but I live in California, and California is very expensive. And not to add, marriage rates are at the lowest because people don't feel financially safe to start a new family. Companies are firing thousands of people even while they're profitable. One termination email can take away your entire income in seconds. That's how fragile depending on a single paycheck really is. Do you remember? In 2022 or 2023, Amazon laid off 22,000 employees. In 2023, Microsoft laid off 10,000 employees. And that's just the big companies that you hear about. Imagine all the small companies that are not a Fortune 500 companies. Inflation quietly drains you. Everything grows except your income. Most people are in a survival cycle. Work, bills, repeat, with no progress. This is the exact reason why I'm obsessed with creating more entrepreneurs, because the system was never built to set you up for success. The system relies on you needing a paycheck. If that paycheck doesn't hit, your life collapses. Entrepreneurship doesn't give you instant money. It gives you instant control. The very first dollar you earn on your own is the moment you realize you don't need permission to succeed. Now, don't be confused. People think that becoming an entrepreneur is immediate success, or you should start making money, or you have freedom. That's completely wrong. It's a very hard lifestyle, but it's very rewarding, because if you put in the work in the early ages, you'll be able to benefit from that in the future. And let me tell you, a 401k or a Social Security retirement is not going to sustain you later on in life. And another mistake is that many people get stuck doing all the work when they start their business, and they end up hating it. If you don't do it right, you're going to end up being a slave to your business, working crazy amount of hours. But if you do it right, you can build your business correctly and buy your time back and hire other people to manage your company while you make money. One good client can be worth more than a whole year of raises in a job. In business, your value isn't capped. You decide it. But here's the problem. When you grow up in a normal, hardworking family, you only have 2 choices: repeat the same cycle or break it. And I recommend that you break it. In this economy, being average isn't enough anymore. Average guarantees that you'll stay stuck in survival mode. Over half the country is living paycheck to paycheck. Even people earning 6 figures. According to some sources, over 60% of Americans are. And trust me, I was there too. I would get my entire check on Friday, and by Monday morning, that check was gone. Partying, drinking, and doing dumb stuff. You can't depend on the economy to get better. You can't depend on an employer to save you. You have to become the reason your life changes. The market rewards problem solvers, not people who wait for instructions. Now, let's break down what entrepreneurship actually means without all the buzzwords. Entrepreneurship isn't about being a billionaire or owning a skyscraper. It starts with one thing: becoming valuable. Entrepreneurship is simply about building businesses that provide value. If what you offer saves somebody time, saves them money, or makes their life easier, they'll gladly pay you. That's what service-based businesses like cleaning, landscaping, mobile detailing, hauling, tutoring, pet care, or handyman work grow so fast. They solve the everyday problem people actually have. Employees wait for opportunity, entrepreneurs create it. If you don't build these skills now, you're betting your entire future on one employer, and that's a dangerous bet. Job stability is collapsing. The average job lasts 4 years, the shortest in history. So your stability has to come from you, not a company. Just think about it. Schools teach you how to follow rules and become an employee. They don't teach you how to make money. They don't teach you how to start an LLC or how to register a corporation or what assets and liabilities are. They don't teach you how good debt can build wealth while bad debt destroys it. And here's why. The teachers themselves are employees. They live the traditional path of trading their time for money, and that's the only blueprint they know. So how do you actually get started? How do you go from thinking about becoming an entrepreneur to actually becoming one? It's not easy, but it's also not complicated. It really comes down to 3 simple steps. Step 1 is finding your niche, the space you're going to enter. And this doesn't have to be some big, perfect, genius level idea. It could be anything. It could be a skill trade. It can be a business idea. It can be something as simple as washing cars, cleaning houses, mowing lawns, or doing photography, tutoring, hauling junk, or even learning how to build software. Sometimes you don't know exactly what you want. The point is just to start somewhere. You might begin washing cars, then later turn it into a full car wash business. And later in the future, maybe you can get into fully automated car washing locations. The first step doesn't have to be big, it just has to be forward. Once you find something that interests you, do your research. Go on Google or on ChatGPT, look up businesses that don't take a ton of money and that can become very profitable. You'll be shocked on how many low-cost businesses can grow into something big. Now, step 2 is planning your execution, and I mean really planning it. What will it take to get this thing off the ground? What sacrifices will you have to make? Maybe you have to give up your weekends. Maybe you have to stop buying unnecessary things, or maybe you won't be able to buy a new car this year. Maybe you have to move into a cheaper place like a garage so you can stack up money to be able to start the business. Whatever it is, write it down. Make the plan. How much money do you need to get started? What equipment do you need? What licenses do you need? What steps need to happen first? If you don't create a plan for how you're going to start your business, you'll never truly understand what it's going to take. This is where your business plan comes in. And if you don't know how to write one, just use ChatGPT. It can literally create a simple, clear business plan that includes your research, your costs, your structure, your goals, and even your timeline. Yes, it sounds complicated, but if you're willing to read and you're willing to look these things up, I promise you'll be able to get started. Step 3, and this is the most important step, you must light a fire inside of you. You've probably talked to many people about your ideas 100 times. You told your friends, you told your family, you talked about how hungry you are, how motivated you are, the vision you have, the business you're going to start. But talking about it isn't the same thing as doing it. This step is about discipline, real discipline. That fire in your belly that forces you to take actions even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what makes you stop making excuses. Discipline is what makes you follow the plan you created. Discipline is what gets step 1 and step 2 off the ground. And while you're building the discipline, here's the golden rule. Do not quit your job too early. You keep your stable job, you keep your income, and you work on your new venture on the weekends, late at night, early in the morning, whenever you can. You don't walk away from your paycheck until your business starts bringing in real money. I've seen this so many times where people get excited, they quit their job and they think their new business is going to pay them right away. Now, for many people it actually does, but most of the time it doesn't really work like that. You need a plan and you need a runway. And yes, in the beginning, you might work more than you ever worked as an employee. It won't feel normal. It won't feel comfortable, but that's the price you pay for freedom. Because eventually, you'll reach the point where you're no longer trading your time for money. You're trading money for time. You're buying your time back piece by piece. And that's when your journey truly begins. When your efforts start turning into wealth, not wages. When your business grows beyond you. When your ideas become assets. I can't promise you the world is going to get easier. But I can promise you this. When you get stronger, when you become more valuable, when you build real skills, you become untouchable. A company can fire you. The economy can shift. Life can hit you hard, but nobody can take your mindset. Nobody can take your discipline. Nobody can take what you build inside yourself. This is why I make this content, to help you build real freedom, not the illusion of it. Freedom that comes from who you become, not from what the world gives you. Stop waiting for the world to change. Start changing yourself. It's time to own your own future. And if this spoke to you, follow me for more mindset, more business advice, and more real conversations about becoming the strongest version of yourself.